The sixth order of life is Protozoa. Protozoa means first animals, first living things. They have one cell, but that is a eukaryotic cell, meaning that it has structure, it has a cell membrane. I want to give you an example, one of the most beautiful things, one of the most mystifying things I've ever seen in creation. I was walking after a rain in a local regional park, and I saw these huge, bulbous, imagine watermelon size, growing out of the ground, huge, bright yellow things. They looked as if the world I was in was black and white, and they were the only color thing. Um, I've seen that effect in The Wizard of Oz, and I've seen that effect in an amazing movie called The Color Out of Space, which is a adaptation of a H.P. Lovecraft story. The next day, it was gone. And I went and I'd taken a picture and I went and I tried to study what I'd been looking at. And I found out it was something called the plasmodium, which is a body shape or stage in life cycle, the watermelon shape I described, or cantaloupe shape, of something called a dog's vomit slime mold. Now, it's not a mold, it's an amoeba. But you say, amoebas are so tiny, how could I see that? Imagine 1 billion single-celled life forms with only one sense, cooperating enough to operate as a unit. So 1 billion single amoebas working together to accomplish goals. The plasmodium is a way they all organize into a single structure for the purpose of exploding. Yes, made me go when I read that. So they're self-organizing for exploding. They have no brain, and yet they're exploding, right? I'm all kinds of interested in this, right? Half of the existing generation will give their lives to fueling the explosion, and the other half will be cast out to a faraway place to continue reproducing as a colony. The one sense they have is they have something like a nose, a chemical nose, on a front and a back, as it were, of this cell that eats and hunts chemicals by smell. The chemicals they eat can be smelled and they can move in a direction. And as a group, they behave. You can ask this creature to do very interesting things. You would think, I like mazes. Do you like mazes? You would think you need a brain to solve a maze. But there's no brain. There's 1 billion or so individual amoebas cooperating. There's no central nervous system. There's no brain. And yet you can put them in a maze and put the chemical they prefer to eat at the center of the maze. And they will not only find it, they will find the most efficient way. That is, you've got a pencil when you're solving a physical maze that's on a piece of paper, right? And you will go and try the first direction, and you come to a dead end, and then you try the second, you try the third, and eventually you get it. It sends groups, which look like tendrils, in all directions simultaneously. And when group one hits a dead end, it stops, communicates that with the rest of the group, and the rest of the group starts moving in the direction. And you'll see where they have ceased when the other ones have found the other ones, the other part of the collective, have found the thing they wanted. They are communicating in some regard and expressing what you and I might deem intelligence without a brain or a nervous system, because God made them to do this with one sense. Now imagine what you can do with 5, or I don't know how many senses people have. We have the amount that humans claim we have, but I'm certain it's more. I'm certain we lost senses in the fall. There are things that Adam's clearly able to see and hear and feel that are not within our scope of reality, that I think are meant to be restored. So we see this thing demonstrating an intelligence that's given by God. It's not even measurable technically by human beings. We couldn't tell you how the group operates, like it has a brain, like it has a leader, like it has a nervous system. And yet God has animated them in such a way as to make them capable of nearly sentient behavior and to seek out its own food. You were designed by God to seek out your own food, but the food is relationship with God. The food, the satisfaction, has to do with the one that created us. We are in much ways like a dumb, brainless creature with just a nose, going after what smells good, going after some hint of pleasure. But if we do not find the one who made us and is the source of not just our life, but also our satisfaction, we will be ultimately dissatisfied. The slime mold goes after the thing it needs always. It was made with that in its wiring. You were made with a wiring to seek out God and find Him. You're operating with the wrong name. I mean, when you say, the thing that you think you want, you have put some earthly temporary thing, usually as a label for that thing. But that thing is not going to satisfy. It's going to be the relationship with the Creator that leads to you leading the fulfilling life that God intended for you. Contributions to His church and to your family and to all your relationships as the person God intended you to be, not as the person this world is trying to make you into. Can you tell I like slime molds? Yes, I do. So, it was made, among other things, to reproduce and push itself further and further into the world by way of those plasmodic explosions, to hunt chemicals, to eat chemicals. Even before the fall, there was hunting. There was things going after their own needs. It exists as a garbage man for waste, to turn the waste of chemicals into something useful for something else. Okay, so sixth order of life is Protozoa. If I have blessed you, encouraged you, or equipped you in any fashion, please like, subscribe, and comment.